No big deal. Hey everyone, welcome to a Snoo Reacts video featuring Omisid and his podcast with Localhaul and Subtractem. They had a very interesting podcast. Definitely recommend you guys take a listen to it. Give them a subscribe if you want. I listened to the entire thing and I thought it was really good, but there was one particular segment in here that I personally wanted to react to and give you guys my perception on it. They're going to talk about Arch Nemesis, specifically loot, God-touched loot. That is something I suppose, for lack of a better word, become something of an expert on now after doing a lot of testing. And in particular, Subtractem goes off on a massive rant here and drops a lot of truth bombs in what he says, and also says some things that I disagree with very much so. I don't take reacting to content creators lightly. I mean it with all due respect, but there are a few things I definitely want to comment on in here, and I want to give you guys my thoughts. So I paused the video. I found exactly where I want to start it off. Omisid is going to start off talking a bit about the current state of the loot goblin meta, and then essentially Subtractem is going to take over and go off on a rant there, and we'll just play it by ear. So have a listen.
It does feel bad that you kind of need to, like, if you're doing this and your goal is to maximize the amount you make from a God Touch rare, that you sort of have to jam in as much rarity / MF as you possibly can, unless you hire a color, and then it's like a whole thing. Obviously, if you're not, we had a discussion about this on my stream yesterday. If you don't, like, if you don't care about that, right, like you just want to play the game how you want to play it, that more power to you, you know, like you can play however you want. But if you want...
That's absolutely right. Again, everybody says that Alkin Go's never been in a better place before. You can completely ignore God Touch farming. You still make it easily 5, up to 10 divines an hour, even more, doing seriously low investment stuff that has nothing to do with magic finding in the game right now, and nothing to do with bossing, like even just mapping strats.
If your goal is to like farm God Touch rares, because that does seem like a very efficient way to make currency, it does kind of feel bad that you have to like...
I actually forgot Omisid mentioned that. So he does go ahead and admit there. For some reason, my takeaway from this podcast is that basically everyone was kind of crapping on God Touch farming, as it was not really, while it might be viable, it was certainly not that great of a way. So I didn't even catch that. So I do want to, recognize that he just said that there.
Jam in MF somehow.
Yeah.
Unless you jam in MF
there to me is that this is, again, hitting all aspects of the game. Like, you're seeing this everywhere.
Okay, yeah, sorry, pausing again real quick. I did want to mention the fact that I just did a 100 map test farm with no Magic Find, no Headhunter. And yeah, the results were a little bit lackluster. I was kind of wanted to test Beasts and how they work without the Magic Find. I thought it would be good, but I didn't get any luck when it came to currency God Touch Beasts in particular. But anyway, that's a bit niche regardless. Yeah, so I did just want to mention that I've done that, and I somewhat agree for the most part. I'm like 70 to 80% on board with what he just said there.
Legion for me is just like the most clear way to farm up a lot of
rares. That's 100% true.
Consistently, or at least a big way to do it. But it's like everything you do has these God Touched rares for the most part, unless you're doing things that I think don't drop loot, right? They don't have mods like that. It's tricky. It's tricky. It is exciting to find one, and I do get excited. I'm like, oh shit, like what are we gonna get? And then like sometimes you get 2 divines, and you're like, Pog. But sometimes you get like
Pog,
an XL,
really?
and you're like,
2 divines.
This was the only God, loot currency God Touch rare I'm gonna see today.
Yeah.
So that's a huge point to bring up, and that's one of the probably the greatest thing I could possibly say about God Touch farming is that the vast majority of PoE farming is reactionary. For example, the Apothecary card last league. So last league, you hit the Sentinel and then you react to the things that drop. You do 50 maps, eventually an Apothecary card drops. The dopamine kicks in, you react. But with the God Touch farming, it's a little more exciting because if you don't instantly kill it, you get to see that it's there, and you get to anticipate a very high chance that you're going to get some seriously nice loot. It kind of reminds me or harkens back to the days of Scourge League. When you did Scourge League and you went into that map, even if it was like a tier 3 tower map, you go in there and you rank bet all the way up to 300 stacks, and you know what's about to happen. It's just about to rain loot. Like, you can hear all the sounds and stuff. That was less reactionary, more anticipatory, and it definitely makes for, I don't necessarily want to say one style is better than the other, but it's nice to have a balance. It's nice to actually see that. And it's probably the best thing I can possibly say about the God Touch farming meta is the anticipation of it.
Or something like that, and I didn't get anything. I don't know. I go back and forth.
Sounds like a bad farming strategy.
Yeah.
So here it goes.
That's it.
It's so funny watching Subtractem's body posture and everything. He is absolutely just livid up in the head right here. So yeah, let's listen to this.
We're at war now. This is a feuding podcast.
It is. God Touch Rare is
Get
stupid.
your cup of coffee
You
out.
make way more money doing smarter stuff. People, it's over exaggerated. No, God Touch Rare is so overstated with how good it is. MF culling is so overstated. It is so overrated. Like,
I hate it.
Local all over there. I hate it. I got nothing against anybody hating the meta. But that's one of the biggest contentions with I'm going to say. So Subtractem opens his rant by saying it's so overrated. It's basically saying it's a dumb way to farm currency. I couldn't disagree more. I just can't really disagree more. I have plenty of videos proving that it's a very legitimate way to farm and do it. I don't know if he's not seen any of my videos. That's fine if he hasn't. If he's tried and it failed numerous times, maybe he gave it a chance. Maybe not. Maybe I really am just incredibly lucky, consistently lucky, and always getting a lot of currency that way. I don't think that's the case myself. But anyway, it's interesting to see him open his argument just absolutely crapping on God Touch farming as a legitimate strategy.
It is viable, though. It is viable.
it's viable, but it's just another shitty way to farm. It
Okay,
is not
he
that
admits
good.
it's viable.
It's like, seriously, just like learn how to play the game well and not like do the thing that Reddit says. If you want to make currency, do the smart thing.
I don't know why he throws Reddit under the bus there. Like Reddit was, of course, if anything, as much up in arms about this as he is right here. So it doesn't actually make a lot of sense for him to do that. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep
all
going.
the richest people I know would not evolve to get rich. You never go into a map. Like, that's stupid in the first place.
Sure.
And you could say that that's like a bad design from Path of Exile, but then like it is like way overrated. Like the whole thing.
All right, so this is something I actually remember. I want to double check to make sure I heard that right. I want to hear what he
It's
says.
just another shitty way to farm. It is not that good. It's like, seriously, just like learn how to play the game well and not like do the thing that Reddit says. If you want to make currency, do the smart thing.
Okay, so he's basically saying this entire time that God Touch farming, target farming God Touch loot is not a smart way, not a reliable way, not a consistent way, and nowhere near the best way, certainly, to farm currency this league with this meta, is what he's saying here.
All the richest people I know would not evolve to get rich.
Okay, I think what he was about to say there is all the richest people he knows would never God Touch farm. Like, that's not the way they would make their currency. That's a little bit surprising here. I feel like that might be a bit hyperbolic. I don't know all the rich people either. Yeah, I think I will probably cash in a few humility karma points now and say I think I classify as somebody who's rich in PoE, and I'm definitely falling under the umbrella of someone who has made certainly from here on forward is going to and has been making most of my currency from God Touch farming. Definitely.
Never go into a map. Like, that's stupid in the first place.
Sure.
And you could say that that's like a bad design from Path.
Oh yeah, so I just kind of glanced at the chat. That's absolutely right. So he might be talking about people who are even out of reach from what I do. So he might be talking about the kind of people that easily earn like 30, 40 mirrors a league. That is not me. I'm not that person. But I think I will pretty easily earn 10 mirrors this league, probably closer to 15 or 20 if I really pushed it, just mapping. So just to clarify, I mean, there are some people, there are different categories of players and how rich they are, obviously. So to be fair, maybe I'm not qualified for that statement.
Exile, but then like, it is like way overrated. Like the whole thing was saying, oh, you have to hire a color. No, it's faster to just do a good strategy, right?
It's faster if you just do a good strategy. Don't do the color. Now, like half of what he said there, I agree 110%. I was never on board with the color thing. It wasn't even because I had anything against it. It was because it's terribly inefficient. Once you're good enough at the game and you know enough about the game to be efficient on your own, even if you are giving away a lot of currency by leaving it in the map and not hiring a color, you're so much faster by just getting in and out of the map to the next map that it's actually, you actually lose currency by waiting around, going on to Discord, finding the person, waiting for them to message you, getting all that, going back to, vouch them on the service provider. All that stuff takes a bunch of time. And, if you're not that fast at the game, it can really feel like you left a lot to be desired by not taking the color up on their service. And I got nothing against anybody who's playing a little bit more casually. Maybe they want to, see what that kind of service is and kind of see what becomes of it, see how much currency they can get from that monster drop. That's kind of cool and exciting too. But he is right on that point where saying kind of a waste of time. Once you reach a certain level of play, you just know immediately that taking time out of your day to go find somebody to help you do something like that when it's not something you technically need help with, it just adds so much extra time.
That was so dumb. The whole culling thing, if you ever paid for a color, you're an idiot. That's just stupid.
That's a little bit mean, but okay.
The thing is, the base IIR and IIQ gets locked in when that monster spawns. If you're
Okay, I'm not actually aware of that. He's saying that the color the color makes no difference, and that could be true. I never really watched or followed up on that culling meta to see if something like that was the case. But there were a lot of people who paid for colors and got no drops anyway. So I don't know. Comment in the description below if you know for sure, because I still don't know the answer.
Map is not already super juiced. And
the map is not already super juiced. That's true.
That you're getting. All it's gonna do is instead of 1 divine, it drops 2, and then you split it with a guy that you hired. Cool, great job. And then you wasted all of your time hiring someone on TFT.
I agree.
And
for
then
the most part.
The thing is that all it's doing is it's exacerbating something. Was I complaining during Scourge League? MF has always been. Does anyone ever heard of Slippery Jim? Hey, there's this guy called Grimro. What do you think they've been doing for the past 5 freaking years? This is just the core of what the juicers do, and they've always done this.
Okay, so here is in full rant mode, and that's massive truth bomb that he just dropped right there. This whole thing, that's actually super, super truth, because I hadn't even really thought about that, giving that a whole lot of thought. People are all up in arms about how Magic Find, the balance of it and everything, and how imperative it feels to run Magic Find in these strategies. Dude, Magic Find has always been incredibly powerful. Think about what Impy's group did and how Magic Find affected them. Again, he harkened back to Scourge League. Just remember how insane that was. I mean, if you really think about it, point for point, Magic Find had way more of an impact in Scourge League than it does this league. I mean, just think about it. Could not agree more, and super enlightening what he just said there.
And it is no better or nor worse than it's ever been. Scourge League was way worse for MF builds.
It is better than it was last league anyway, but yeah, I mean,
average
up and down.
If you just wanted to elk and go.
Sure.
The game right now is so much better. After the patches, pre-patch, the game sucked. We established that. But after the patches, just elk and go is so much better. The whole MF thing is so overrated. Now, I'm not.
So I agree that Alk and Go is the best place it's ever been. I came up with strategies myself. I was able to see pretty clearly that with the adjustments to loot and the massive nerfs to major types of juicing, specific types of juicing, and then they sort of directly, and I guess maybe indirectly, buffed Alk and Go that way. So as far as I understand, actually I should have prefaced it by saying Subtractem actually likes this league. Overall, he really does enjoy playing the league. He's one of the few content creators that's not been crapping all over the league, so it's a little weird to see him right here, right now, do it. Whereas a lot of the other content creators have just been talking ill about the league and the balance, the current patch for forever now. In some cases, they actually are gone and they quit. Kudos to the ones who actually quit rather than are sticking around, continuing to play and still just say nothing but bad things about the league. But anyway, so he's such a positive guy, so it's a little strange to see him in this situation. But let's continue here.
I'm not saying that the God Touch thing is good. I'm not making an argument for God Touch stuff. Like, that's a whole different discussion. But it's just another strategy that happens to be in the game right now. It is viable, but
Good,
I don't
thank
know
you
a
for admitting
single
that.
person
Viable
who is
at
on,
the
like,
very
the upper
least.
echelons that I know that is very rich in this game right now. That even they would just be like, you're wasting your time farming God Touch. Like,
Okay, so he did clarify that point. That's what I thought he said earlier. So this is the one of the biggest things I'm really surprised to hear him say this, that he doesn't know a single person who is wealthy in PoE that has been farming God touched rares successfully and making loads of currency doing it. Really? that's the kind of WTF. That's the biggest WTF I think I got in this reaction. I'm really surprised to hear that.
One of like the top 3 richest people I know, he just buys lakes, runs them, and he makes mirrors every week. Like, there's so
Cool.
many, or just
Great. I don't know about that strategy, but I totally believe it.
Like, it's just the thing that's in the game. It's like, okay, like, maybe 1 in a million will be dropping like 70 divines if you really get super lucky. But like,
well, 70 divines is okay. So to get 70 divines solo, yes, I think you would have to hit like opulent with currency touch clean on that. Yeah, that's kind of like hitting not 3 but 4 7s in a row on the casino. Probably like crazy lucky, but to hit 20 or 30 divines, not that hard.
All those screenshots are like cropped screenshots that you don't see the fact that they're in a full MF group and they're culling with like
that can be misleading sometimes. I post the highlights. I try to prove people the highlights stuff. I try to share the fact that yes, I go 10, 20, 30, maybe 40 maps without a single God touch rare. It happens, but and then 2 drop in the same screen. What am I gonna do? I'm obviously gonna clip it and make a highlight.
Yeah, it's like the whole God touch thing it's a new strategy that's in the game. It may go away after this patch. Who cares?
Yeah,
you
probably
can make
will.
more money. Honestly, you just will make more money either buying and running lakes. You can just buy and run Apex of Atzawaddle, or you can just delve and for the ultimatum fragments. You're just gonna make more money doing that, right? Or you can do.
So I would really like to hear him clarify, like how much currency per hour is in his mind is a strategy not just viable but like top tier, not counting the preparation. And every strategy has its issues with preparation and liquidation, but again, in most cases we don't count those. We count the actual time it takes to run the boss, or maybe to like do the invitations, to actually do the maps and stuff. Is 20 divines an hour not good enough for him? Because I kind of doubt that. I'm pretty sure the strategies he's talking about are not, a full category above 20 divines an hour, for example, or even 15 divines an hour, or probably even 10 divines an hour, to be honest. So he is probably, when he is talking about like, here's what a good strategy is, I'm betting that in the back of his mind, he's probably thinking somewhere between 10 and 20 divines an hour, if I had to guess.
El can go with Betrayal, do Wandering Path, sell Ashlings,
Wandering Path,
Incursion Temples. You'll easily be making 10 to 15 divines an hour. And
all right, he does say it.
It's just like better than God touch farming. Like,
I should have saved it.
So silly that
So he does say 10 to 15 divines an hour is good.
I'm gonna go on Reddit and complain. Look at
me. Okay, so you feel like there's actually possibly even more we can do this league than in previous leagues, but people are hyper focused on stuff like MF. Because I do feel bad about that. I did try like a little bit of MF, not like proper MF, but I kind of adjusted my BV build so it had like, I don't know, 400 MF or something, just to test it. And it felt really bad because I wasn't, I guess I didn't have quant, right? Okay.
Okay. I'm going to pause it there. I like listening to what Locahall says too, but for the sake of this video, it's focusing on Subtractem there. Locahall has been down in the dump, morally speaking, for the entire league. He's really hated this league, and I know he's going to ask some questions about how he can make the league more fun for him. But anyway, that is apparently Subtractem's take on God touch farming, the state of God touch farming, the viability of it, the lucrativeness of it or lack thereof. I would be really interesting to have a one-on-one conversation with him on that topic. But anyway, I just wanted to share you guys this clip because again, I thought kind of like 50% of what he said was quite insightful and really, really smart and super on point, and then like the other half of what he said was very much against the sort of findings that I've had and what I've been doing this league and the success that I've had. So anyway, I know a lot of you in my community are obviously, adhering to God Touch Farming. You're excited to do that. But yeah, let me hear your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think of Subtractem's point? Is there anything you think he said that was super enlightening to you? What was it in particular he said that you didn't agree with? And yeah, we can start a conversation about that. Definitely want to hear your thoughts on that. And I wanted to get my thoughts out there on the internet on that one. So with that, thank you for checking out this reaction video. I will do them on rare occasion. I typically watch all the podcasts and things, and I don't have anything in particular to react to. But in this case, yeah, it was very much on the nose to the kind of things I'm doing in the league. So I wanted to react to it. I will catch you guys here pretty soon in the next video, okay?